Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be opening up and testing these various HO scale trains that I recently got from eBay and from trains.com. I got these four items, which are specifically two Amtrak Amfleet coaches, a Penn Central Hef7 diesel locomotive made by Atlas, and a Conrail GP9M locomotive made by Walthers, and not made by Ethern. That just happens to be the box that trains.com sold this locomotive in. Although that being said, this box did belong at some point to another Conrail locomotive. Looks like a Conrail SD40-2 or something like that. But this will actually be a GP9M. I guess I might as well just open it up and show you. Oh, it even has the instructions for, I don't know what happened to the locomotive that should have been in this box. But this is what I do have here, and that looks really nice, actually. A GP9M Conrail locomotive. So I'll probably still keep this Athearn box to, I guess, store the locomotive in when I'm not running it on the layout. But I thought that was kind of weird that trains.com sold this in this box. But, oh well. It does look really nice, though. I do have a couple of these GP9M locomotives made by Walthers, and they all run quite well, so I assume, or I can safely assume at least, that this will probably run good like those do as well. So these are the four items that I'll be focusing the video on. And when I say testing out these coaches, I say that because these are actually lighted. There's a light in the center of each of the coaches. They're made by Bachmann, as you can see by the boxes here. And Bachmann usually is a good brand when it comes to their trains. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these both run. I thought it would be cool to kind of show you how these worked and just to see if any of these items run. So, but before I get into testing out these items, I want to show you the rest of the items that I got from the two hauls that I mentioned. Well, here are all the other train-related items that I got from eBay and from trains.com here. We have the eBay items on the left and then trains.com items on the right. So these all came from the same seller on eBay. I paid only $30 for all of this, and I thought that was a really good deal. Of course, I have the Amtrak Amfleet coach, this Lehigh Valley insulated boxcar, this Southern diesel locomotive, which unfortunately does not run, and I knew that when I got it. Apparently it has a couple of broken gears or something, and there are actually two loose gears inside the box. I don't know if I can shake it enough to let you hear them flopping around, I guess. But I may attempt to see if I can fix this or something. I'm not really too sure about that. But at least it'll look good as a dummy locomotive if I happen to convert it into a dummy locomotive and have it maybe sit in my freight yard or something. This Southern caboose is actually made by Lifelike, but it's in this Bachmann box for some reason, so that'll look good, I guess, with this. And then I got this Norfolk and Western hopper car, which has nice metal trucks on it, too, and the knuckle couplers. So I'm actually not sure if this belongs in this box either, because this is from Bachmann's like lower grade series. It does match up with what's on the side here, but I thought this was a really good deal, I think, for $30, in spite of the fact that the engine doesn't run and the caboose is actually the wrong caboose, or the box is wrong, or whatever. But I mostly got this haul for these three, and perhaps maybe I'll be able to get this locomotive to run in the future. Not totally sure, though. And then for the trains.com haul, everything here was around $190 in total, which I didn't think was too bad, considering all the items that I actually ended up getting here. I also had a $10 coupon as well. I got another Amtrak coach, which is pretty much identical to this one here. And I will be testing these out to see if the lights in fact do work. I got this Penn Central locomotive here made by Atlas. And then this Conrail locomotive, which actually, once again, is not made by Ethern. That's just the box that trains.com, I guess, got the locomotive in. But I will, of course, be opening up and testing these later on. And then I got some 1/87 scale die-cast cars to add to the layout. I have the Audi R8 Spider in red, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo in green, and the Porsche 356B with this really cool looking camper trailer in the back here. This one's made by Schuko, and these two are made by Model Power and then by Malibu International. And then I also got this Citroen DS1 with this camper trailer made by EKO or Eco or Echo. I'm not really sure how to say it. Made in Spain. So this is kind of like a vintage plastic HO vehicle. So I thought that was cool. So I decided to get that. And then I got this set of Bachmann Park items, which includes a fireplace, a pavilion, different trash cans, and also a well, apparently, or like a water pump of some sorts, and some benches. Because I will actually be doing a project on my layout that involves this stuff, which I will be showing in a future video, more than likely. I also got some items in the front here. These didn't come loose, technically. They were in their packaging, but somehow the packaging opened up during shipment and all the stuff came out inside the box. Luckily, nothing was lost or broken. Things like that will happen, you know, from time to time, I guess. But I figured all this stuff would look good around my streets on my layout or at my train station. We have 2 benches, a phone booth, 2 mailboxes, 2 trash cans, and 2 fire hydrants. So I will also be putting those on the layout as well. And then I also got a pack of 20 signs, which I'll be putting throughout my streets and around the train tracks, and I guess around the train station too. I got a set of people as well, made by Lifelike. These also come with bases on them too. A lot of times you'll see these HO scale people and they won't have bases. So you have to make them on your own, which is pretty simple. If you get a sheet of like clear plastic, you can use a hole puncher and then use those to glue, and then use those as bases for HO scale people. And these are hand painted apparently as well, which is very cool. That's all the stuff that I got from these 2 different hauls, I guess we'll say. I hadn't bought train stuff online for quite a while, so that explains the pretty big hauls here, but I just wanted to show off all the stuff that I got from these 2 sites before I got into the items that I wanted to unbox and test out for you in the video. For right now, let's get all of these out and test them out. I guess we'll start by testing out these Amtrak coaches. And these are the Amfleet 1 coaches. They actually built 2 different series of these Amfleet coaches. Amfleet 1 was built in the 1970s, and Amfleet 2, which was a little bit different and had bigger windows. And they only had 1 vestibule as opposed to 2. They were built in the early 1980s, and both were built by the Budd company. And these have the Phase 3 Amtrak paint scheme on them. I currently have another, so now I have 3 Amfleet coaches with the Amtrak Phase 3 paint, and I have 3 Amfleet coaches with the Amtrak Phase 1 paint, which is pretty similar to this, except the striping is a little bit different. And instead of Amtrak, it says Am Coach in smaller white letters, and it has the Amtrak logo. I think either on this side or on that side. I want to see if these actually have the functioning lights inside of them. The descriptions online for both of these listings were not specific to say, you know, like, oh yeah, I tested these out and the lights worked. So I'm going to see for myself if the lights work. But they're in these standard Bachmann boxes, as you can see here, from the late 1980s or early 1990s or so. It does have the old price tag on the side there. 85-foot Budd Amtrak Fleet Coach. So there's that one. And here's that one. It looks like this one's missing the coupler. I think it might have said that. Or did it? I don't know. Oh wait, there's the coupler. Although it looks like it's missing the screw, so I will have to repair the coupler. I have had plenty of screws though, so it should not be that big of a deal. But because I have this upside down now, you can see that the wheels do make contact with this copper strip here, which is then wired. You can see here there's a little green wire. It's wired through the inside of the coach, and there's a light in the center of each of the coaches. You can see it's kind of like this cylinder-shaped thing, and that lights up the interior of the coach. You can see that Bachmann does actually mold in all the different seats in there, which I always thought was really cool. And this does have the nice stainless steel look that the real coach has. Of course, the whole thing is made out of plastic as far as the model goes. And then you do have the vestibule doors as well with the red lights on them. So we will put the coupler on and then we'll see how these look on the layout. All right, got the two coaches up here on my layout, which once again I have shown in a couple of videos in the past that I hope to show in some future videos as well. We'll see if the lights in these coaches work. We'll turn on the main power and the power pack. And we'll see. And we got some light. Wow, awesome. I kind of figured these would work, but I wasn't totally sure. But as you can see, the light is in the center of each coach. A little bit flickery, but that's not a big deal. These are going to flicker anyway as they run. Yeah, you can see right there. But we'll have these go around a few laps. I do have this lifelike Amtrak locomotive that I showed in a previous video. So we'll see how these run with that. All right, they're coupled up. We'll see how these run. Lights look good and the coaches run nice and smooth. I kind of figured they would run good, but wasn't totally sure, especially with the working lights, but it looks like they work just fine. Very nice. Oh, I got two more nice additions to my collection of HO scale Amtrak items. So I'm definitely happy about that. Now we'll see how the locomotives run. All right, glad those coaches worked out, and they especially look good with those working lights inside them too. Next, we'll test out the two locomotives that I got. Again, not sure why the Athearn box is with the Walthers locomotive, but at least the Athearn box was for a Conrail locomotive, albeit a different one. You already saw the instruction manual and everything. These are parts, I'm guessing, for the SD40-2. Maybe at some point in the future I'll get an SD40-2 from Athearn, but I'm not sure at this time. So we'll get this Conrail locomotive out of the box and test that out too. I always love the Conrail blue livery for the freight locomotives that Conrail was using. And the GP9M, I think, does look good with the Conrail livery for sure. And speaking of Conrail, I do happen to have a Conrail train running right now. Here's the caboose in the back here. And then I have this locomotive up here made by Bachmann. We'll go around and get a better look at it real quick. But I'll test out the new Conrail locomotive that I got on this track here, just to kind of see how it runs by itself, and then I will attach it to this freight train that I have here. So here is this locomotive by Bachmann that I have. But we will test out the Walthers Conrail locomotive and see how it runs. I'm actually going to run it in this direction. So I think all the wheels are on the track here. Push it back a slight bit. Got the main power on. Turn on the power pack, and then let's see how she runs. There she goes. Nice smooth runner, it looks like. Just have the working light. It's a little bit dim, but at least it actually functions, unlike that one Santa Fe locomotive that I got. Wow. Decently fast, too. That's around 70 right now. Here it is at full power. It's actually a little bit quicker than the other GP9Ms that I have by Walthers. Really nice. This locomotive was about 35-ish dollars, I want to say. I think that was a good deal that I got there. Runs nice and smooth. It's a slight bit louder than the other Walthers GP9Ms that I have, but that's completely fine. Now I'll attach it to this freight train here. I'll switch it with this Conrail locomotive, and then we'll see how it runs with these freight cars, or these box cars. All right, got this on the track. Pull these forward and then couple them up. Here's the Conrail GP9M hooked up with these box cars, and the caboose, of course. Now we'll see how it runs with some freight. A little slow to start, but that's a decent speed actually. That's at 70 right now. Runs good with the freight cars. I'm impressed. Locomotive looks really cool too. I'm not sure if the whole entire thing would have been blue in real life, but Walthers is a very high quality brand, so I imagine they did an accurate job on this compared to the real life counterpart. Very nice. Awesome. I forgot to see how it runs backwards too, so I'll just switch the direction real quick. I imagine it'll run similarly, but I am curious to see if this has the directional lighting. Sometimes these do, sometimes they don't, but I guess we'll find out. It's not a big deal if it doesn't. I was just curious. All right. Okay, so the front light is still lit up. Not sure. I don't think it has a rear light that works at least. Oh well. Still a really nice locomotive though. Definitely worth the price that I paid for it. Well, I'm definitely impressed. This is a nice locomotive, and I'm glad to add it to my fleet of other locomotives. Now we'll see how the Penn Central locomotive runs. All right, last but not least, we have this Penn Central F-unit locomotive made by Atlas. The Atlas brand, I think, is a pretty good brand, too. They're kind of more on the budget side, but a lot of their equipment and trains and everything in general are good quality. This is an older Atlas based off how the box looks. This is the correct box for this locomotive, it looks like. Made in Austria. Did not know that. Cool. And this is based off a real life locomotive as well. Unusual for a box. This one, it looks like you just lift it off. I didn't realize that. So lift off the lid, and there's the F unit. Penn Central. Looks pretty well detailed too. See if maybe the styrofoam can come out with the locomotive. Looks like it can. I'm not sure that little piece is. Hope it's nothing important. I guess we'll find out if I run the thing. There we go. Nice looking locomotive. I know people weren't really a fan of the Penn Central Railroad or of a lot of their paint schemes, but I do like the nice black paint scheme on the F unit here, especially with the small logo on the front and then on the sides, and then you have the number and then of course the Penn Central inscription on the sides as well. So we'll see how this one runs. All right, got the F unit Penn Central up on the layout here. Already got everything turned on. We'll see how she runs. Started right up. Nice, smooth, and quiet. The light is working, which is nice to see. Very nice. Decent speed too. That's about 80 right now. So it's very like heavy too when you pick it up. I forgot to mention that. Wow, nice runner. We'll see how it runs backwards. Might need some lubrication. It is making that kind of buzz noise, but that is pretty abnormal for an older locomotive, I think. I'd say that runs pretty good. We'll see how it runs with a set of freight cars next, the same set of box cars that I tested out the Conrail locomotive with. In fact, I have a Penn Central caboose as well down there on the shelf. So I'll switch out the Conrail caboose with the Penn Central one, and then we'll put on the locomotive, and then we'll see how it runs with this freight set. All right, got the F unit on the front of the train here, and then we have the Penn Central caboose on the rear portion of the train. We'll see how this runs with some freight. Runs good, I think. A little on the slow side, but I don't think that's a big deal. Because as you can see, it can at least pull all of these box cars and the caboose. Really nice. I'm definitely satisfied with this one too. Very nice locomotive. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video where I unboxed and tested out these two locomotives and these two coaches back here. I'm definitely glad that I added all of these to my fleet of HO scale trains, and you can definitely look forward to more HO train content in the future. Feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.